Now looking at some local news, discussion around Lloydminster's new arena project took center stage at this week's Governance and Priorities meeting. Council was given more details on the design of the project site, but as Jace Mackey explains, the project was also dealt some unfortunate news.
The first thing that comes to mind when thinking of the Lloydminster Place project is probably hockey, and that makes sense since the project will feature 2 indoor and 1 outdoor ice surface. But the city has more plans for the site beyond the ice. The city wants Lloydminster Place to be a recreation destination 365 days a year.
An arena traditionally fits in that, maybe September, maybe even summer hockey in July, but ends in April. So how do you make a facility more user-friendly? By adding an outdoor recreation sport such as softball.
The city has plans for 6 softball diamonds on the Lloydminster Place site. A nearby pavilion building will also be built featuring washrooms, dressing rooms, and a concession. Early estimates for the diamonds range from $10 million to $12 million. Mayor Albers says the diamonds will attract more visitors to Lloydminster who will spend at local businesses, including the on-site restaurants and retail stores.
Enhancing opportunities for recreation as well as economic development, because now you're going to bring people and host them. As an example, on 6 diamonds, all of a sudden you've got up to 18, 24 teams playing. Those teams are a number of people. When they're not playing, they could be shopping in our local community and supporting our businesses.
The site plan also includes a 59-site campground that the mayor says will make Lloydminster Place an even more enticing destination for visitors and help spur economic development.
People want to come and say, I'd like to camp at the Wall Diamond or for summer hockey school, those kind of opportunities. So I think that fits well, as well as providing those small amenities for the umpires to have a place to change. If there's a shower house attached to the campground or not, that was a discussion piece, but you need to have public washrooms.
The city has applied for grant funding through the government of Saskatchewan, hoping to receive over $36 million to go towards Lloydminster Place. The government approved 68 projects for funding, and Lloydminster was not on the list. While the mayor is disappointed, he says there's a second intake for grant funding, and he's confident the city will get the funding at the end of the day.
There's always that question when you do a government grant application, is it complete enough? Have we covered off the bases? What are we missing? Why did we not make the first cut? From the perspective, the minister said there was more applications, and certainly we would be moved to the second. He was very satisfied with our application, and from that perspective, so now it's just a waiting game.
In the meantime, Albers says he will continue to advocate for this project to all levels of government. For Primetime Local News, I'm Jace Mackey.
A new way for Lloydminster Public School Division students to be creative is coming to the division in the next school year. I have the details in this week's Beyond the Classroom. LPSD is teaming up with local artist Brandy Hofer for their new art academy. Hofer has been interested in the creation of more art programs for students, and then she was approached by the division. The skills taught in the art academy can translate to many different fields.
Today more than ever, those creative skills, when you think about like YouTube and videography and photography and animation, those are more applicable now today as a skill set in the job world than they ever have been before.
The program will be for students in grades 6 to 8 starting this fall. The Art Academy will bring kids into the community to see the art around them and encourage students to tap into their creative side.
We'll be meeting different artists who are actually making it work in the real world today, and we'll be doing studio tours, and we're going to be meeting with international artists who have already agreed to chat with the students. So it just like makes my heart so full knowing that people support us and people care.
Hofer is excited that creativity is being brought into the spotlight and will allow students to express themselves.
The thing about creativity is that it has been undervalued for a very long time. Instead of pushing it to the wayside and saying it's not important, it's reinforcing and positively reinforcing that it is important and that we can, incorporate it into our everyday lives.
Applications for the Art Academy are currently open for interested students and close on April 29th. And that's all for this week's Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students are challenged to go beyond the classroom, so when industry knocks, they're ready to thrive. Learn more at lakelandcollege.ca.
After a 2-year hiatus due to the pandemic, the Lloydminster Youth Art Show is back in the border city. Submissions are now being accepted, and as our Shelby Clark tells us, the deadline is right around the corner.
Today for Primetime Local News, we are speaking on the Lloydminster Youth Art Show, and joining us is Holly Durwa, the collections coordinator. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, we're glad to be able to have you on here. So I wanted to kind of start off with everybody that may not be aware exactly what the Lloydminster Youth Art Show is all about, but can we kind of get a little backstory of what this is and what's all involved?
Sure. So we've been running the show for a couple years now. It's pretty much a celebration of Lloydminster's artistic youth and some of their projects over the past couple years. Mainly due to the pandemic. I know everyone's been stuck at home lately, so there's probably been a lot of art hanging around in houses and stuff. So yeah, just anybody from 3 to 18.
And so now it's officially being brought back now after kind of being on hold through the pandemic.
It's being brought back. We didn't manage to host it during the pandemic, unfortunately. It wasn't something that we were able to move online. So it's been a few years since we've hosted it, but hopefully it's going to be back in full swing coming up shortly.
And before it was put on hold, through COVID-19, how was support in the past, in previous years with this art show?
In previous years, it's been really strong, especially we've luckily got a lot of submissions coming from schools and teachers and that kind of thing, kind of bringing us some of their highlights from their classes year. So hopefully we'll be getting some of that. And then there's also been the individual submissions as well. So parents bringing in some of their kids' stuff or older kids that can bring in their own items. So yeah.
And you were saying that this art show has been a thing for a few years now. Do you know exactly how the idea started to get this art show a thing here in the border city?
A couple of years ago, I believe had an opening in our exhibition run, and one of our staff members noticed that opening coincided with National Youth Arts Week, which is at the beginning of May. So we developed this show and it's been running ever since. So it runs for about a month. So we extend it longer than the Youth Arts Week, just because it takes us a bit to put it up most of the time. So.
Well, it's definitely interesting that there is a show for youth out there that can really show off their skills and all their artwork and all that too. So I think that's really great to see. How did it feel knowing that you can finally bring it back now after this pandemic?
It feels good. It was one of our most successful shows in the past. So I'd really love to see a whole pile of submissions come in. It's also just really nice because we don't judge the art. So it's free. We don't make comments on your skill level, where you are, what your age is, doesn't matter. I put it all up on the wall.
And so you're saying there's been quite a lot of submissions so far since now it's back?
We're getting there. Last Minute Lloyd is a traditional place, so hopefully it picks up in the past few days. So I've got submissions open until end of day Saturday, and we are open on Good Friday. So.
And lastly, I just wanted to ask if we could expand on how people can submit their artwork in case they aren't really fully aware of how they can do this for the art show and find more information about this online.
So to submit your artwork, we make it real easy. You just need to come down to the center pretty much and have your art ready to be hung. So if it's something that's framed or on a canvas, have a wire or whatever on the back so I can put it on a nail. If it's something that's honestly just a piece of construction paper, because I will get a lot of those, because that's what a lot of kids are doing their art on these days, that's fine. I can totally just put that up with sticky tack. So bring that on down to the center, have your kid give the piece a title. I've had everything from fancy titles to things entitled Bob the Duck. So that's all good. Yeah, bring it down. We'll get you to fill out a little kind of contact information form, and that's about it. And if you want, you can reach out via Facebook or our phone number here at the center, and we can answer any questions.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Holly. I'm glad we could get the word out and be able to speak about anybody that may not have known that the submission deadline was coming up here.
Yeah, for sure. We're open 10 to 6, so come on down.
Now our Shelby Clark will take a first look at this evening's forecast. Thank Thanks so much, Jasmine. Now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city. We are seeing still a slightly cooler day with -6, and with that wind chill, it does feel closer to -14, but we did see that sun peak behind those clouds slightly throughout the day today. We are still seeing a little bit of sunnier skies even at the moment, so hopefully everybody still enjoyed their day, but we did see definitely a better day today than we saw yesterday. And now switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, we are still seeing those minus marks. Most spots are still sitting at -6 for right now. -4 up in Bonnyville as well as in Edmonton, -5 in Lac La Biche, Marwayne, Vegreville, and down in Provost. Now switching over to our Saskatchewan side, here they are seeing those minus points as well, some slightly cooler compared to the Alberta side, but not too bad. -7 in both St. Walburg and Meadow Lake, while there's -6 in Green Lake, Isle La Crosse, and down in North Battleford. -5 in Maidstone and Pearslin, and Macklin is sitting at -4. And for North Battleford overnight, they will be going down to -7, so they won't be cooling down too badly of what they are sitting at right now, of course, and they will be seeing a high chance of some flurries that will start off in their evening, and then that will continue into tomorrow morning for them at -3, so they will warm up just slightly throughout the day, although they will be seeing those flurries continue on. Switching now to Cold Lake, they'll be cooling down to -9, so they will be cooling down just slightly from that -6 mark, seeing a lot more cloudier skies. Then tomorrow they will be seeing a much warmer day, still seeing minus, but they will be seeing just -1 throughout the day, but they will be seeing a mix of some sun and cloud. And for us in the border city, we'll be cooling down to -8, so we will be cooling down a couple degrees from where we are sitting at right now. Then tomorrow we will be seeing around a 30% chance of some flurries starting off throughout the morning at -1 throughout the day, so we will still be seeing a pretty slightly warm day for our Thursday. And now taking a look at your 3-day forecast for here in the border city. As I was saying, for our Thursday, we will be seeing -1, so still not too bad temperature-wise, although we will be seeing a high chance of some flurries that will start off, so that will be some light snowfall. And then starting off our Easter long weekend on Friday, we'll warm up to that 0 mark and seeing an even warmer day on Saturday at 3 degrees. That's the first look at your weather forecast. A lot more news coming up after the break. The hockey season may be over for the bulk of teams. However, players were lacing up their boots once again this past weekend for AJHL spring camps. Evan Kenny has more on the Lloydminster Bobcats and the result from their weekend.
For the first time since the spring of 2019, the Lloydminster Bobcats hosted their spring prospects camp.
Skills, saves, and physicality were on display as roughly 100 players battled at the Centennial Civic Center.
We challenged them every day as a group, and little things that we were looking for, and they were able to rise to the challenge, and an outstanding job by the athletes here.
Current Bobcats players were in attendance, helping ref and coach the 12 games.
When you can get your veteran players back like that, and they're excited to come back and be around for the weekend, and I think it really gives a sense of what we got going on in the border city here, and it was able for the prospects to see that too as well.
Back in 2019, Dubé had 22 roster spots to fill. While this year, there isn't nearly as many, Dubé says he can see players from this camp filling the team's needs.
Some of them, our expectations are for them to make our team, and it's up to them to go back and do the work and be prepared. But definitely players from this weekend identified themselves, to move forward in our process.
4 select players who get the invite. Bobcats main camp will be in August, ahead of the AJHL's 59th season. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now we go to our Shelby Clark for another look at tonight's forecast. Thanks again so much, Miss Jasmine King. Now taking another look at your weather forecast, we will be looking at the central zone of our provinces and kind of seeing where we're at in our northern and southern as well. In the central zone on the Alberta side, we are still seeing those single-digit minus points, so not too bad. Hopefully we will be seeing that spring season move in here, but we are ranging from around -3 to -5 degrees on the Alberta side. And switching over to our Saskatchewan side, here they are seeing those single-digit points as well. Melfort and North Battleford both seeing -6, as well as in Cold Lake, -5 and Saskatoon, while Prince Albert is at -4, and Meadow Lake is looking the coolest, just seeing -7. Now going over to our northern zone, they aren't seeing too bad of temperatures. Some spots were even catching those double-digit minus points, but they are seeing a slightly warmer for today. Most spots are seeing around -8 to -9 degrees on the map, -3 in both Flin Flon and down in La Ronge, and it is -7 and -6 in South End and Stony Rapids. Now switching over to this end here, they are seeing not too bad of temperatures, seeing around -3, -4 in most spots, -6 and 7 in Fort McMurray and High Level, while Fort Chipewyan is slightly cooler, just hitting -10. Now going over to our southern zone, they are looking slightly cooler. They are sometimes see some warmer temperatures compared, but they are matching with us here in the central zone for the most part. -7 in Lethbridge, while this -6 in both Medicine Hat and Calgary, and -5 in Coordination and Banff. Going over to this side here now, they are seeing those single digits as well. -6 in most spots on this side, while Yorkton is just seeing -5, and Swift Current is looking the coolest with -8. Now going back across the region to seeing what we will expect throughout our evening and throughout the night tonight. We will be cooling down quite a bit for our temperatures, but most spots will be seeing those single digits, so that's not too bad from what we were seeing earlier on in the week. Most spots will be expecting to see a low of -9, as you can see. Unity and Wainwright will be seeing a low of -7, -8 degrees. Provost will just be expecting to see a low of -10, while Isla Crosse will be seeing the coolest with a low of -11. But we will be seeing a lot more cloudier conditions throughout our evening and throughout the night, compared to most spots seeing a high chance of some flurries. So I think we won't be seeing too bad of an evening tonight than what we have been seeing throughout the week. And now looking at temperatures tomorrow across the region, we will warm up slightly for most spots, ranging from around -1 to -3. So I wouldn't say that's too bad as we are heading more into the spring season. Hopefully things will be looking up from here. And now looking at our 7-day forecast for here in the border city, we will be seeing around a 70% chance of some flurries tomorrow at -1. So we will be seeing a warmer temperature throughout the day, although we will expect to see some light snowfall. So get ready for that, but that will melt down pretty soon here. Friday, starting off our Easter long weekend, we'll be hitting that 0 mark and seeing a little bit more cloudier conditions that will continue into Saturday. And then Saturday we will warm up to 3 degrees, ending off at that 6 mark with a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. Then next week we will even warm up a bit more and seeing more of those spring conditions with 9 degrees on next Monday with a lot more sun. And Tuesday and Wednesday we'll be seeing that same with 8 to 9 degrees with a mix of some sun and cloud. That is another look at your weather forecast. Our Jasmine King will have more news coming up after the break.
Today we have Susie O'Connor here, the chair of the Best of Alberta Photography group that is holding the Best of Photography Alberta exhibition in Cold Lake coming up next week. And so thank you so much for being with us today, Susie, to talk about this great event.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Is the Best of Alberta Photography exhibition going to kind of look like? What is going to be on display, and kind of what are we going to expect to see at the event coming up this next week?
Sure, yeah. So the Best of Alberta photography exhibition is put on by the Professional Photographers of Canada Alberta region, and the images are submitted by photographers that are members of the Professional Photographers of Canada Alberta, and they're judged by a panel of judges. And the images that actually make it into the traveling exhibition that goes all over Alberta are basically the 2 highest scores that can be given in the judging. So there's 50 or 60 images in many different categories, anywhere from commercial to portraiture to weddings to beautiful fine art pieces. So if you are interested in photography, it's a great exhibition to take in at the Energy Center.
Then you are also running an event on the 20th, specifically talking about Indigenous women. Kind of tell me about what that event is going to kind of entail and what importance it has, considering some of the stuff that has happened recently.
Yes, thank you for asking about that. So on April 20th, we're opening this up to, friends, colleagues, past clients, and just the community at large. Um, I'll be having an artist talk on kind of what we've been doing at the studio. It's our 30th anniversary this year. And so we'll be having an artist talk on, what we do at the studio, but also, and most importantly, is the MMIW Red series that I've been working on. And so these are the red handprint that is very, no, famous is not the right word, but very recognizable these days. And it's just what I wanted to do is I wanted to raise awareness about MMIW and Red Dress Day, which is on May 5th. And I wanted to be able to, for my 30th anniversary, do something that means something, like a legacy project, basically. So we've brought people in from Indigenous members of our community here around Cold Lake and further out. And we've just done creative portraits that they're going to be really beautiful, and we'll be unveiling just a few of them at our event on April 20th, because the big day is May 5th. And so we really want to educate the public on April 20th about Red Dress Day and what's going to be happening here in Cold Lake.
And so, Susie, when and where is the Best of Alberta Photography event taking place specifically?
April 20th, 6:30 at the Energy Center. We'll have refreshments, an artist talk. People can walk the halls and really enjoy the exhibit and just get the community together in person, which is just super exciting to have happen.
Thank you again so much for being here with us today. And we look forward to coming out on the April 20th.
And thank you for taking the time, Thomas. I really appreciate you bringing this forward to the community.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Stephanie Dobson is back with us again this week. Stephanie is a lawyer and mediator here in Lloydminster at Hanka Divorce Law and Mediation. And Stephanie, this week we're going to be talking about World Creativity and Innovation Week, which starts on the 15th of this month. So, Stephanie, let's talk about what exactly is this week.
You bet, Stacey. So World Creativity and Innovation Week is a worldwide movement. It was started back in 2001 in Toronto to showcase creative and innovative thinking by people all around the world. So in fact, there's two celebrations here. One is called World Creativity and Innovation Week and World Creativity and Innovation Day. So the day itself is celebrated on April 21st, and the week is celebrated between April 15th and 21st in each year. In 2017, the United Nations granted April 21st as actually an International Day of Observance to raise awareness of the role of creativity and innovation in all aspects of human development and to encourage people to use creativity in their problem solving. The organizers of the movement describe that this celebration exists, and I quote from them, to empower people to use new ideas, make new decisions, and to make the world a better place. End quote. So this year's theme for the celebration in 2022 is collaboration.
Okay, and Stephanie, tell us a little bit more about that theme, please.
Sure. So with this theme this year being collaboration, the International Academy of Collaborative Professionals, also known as the IACP, has been invited to be official participants of the celebration. The IACP is a global community of legal, mental health, and financial professionals who work together to promote the use of collaborative law as a way to resolve disputes in a client-centered, dignified, and respectful way. So as a member myself of the IACP, and as a collaborative divorce professional, I wanted to participate to create something meaningful. So why not? I decided to create a film. One of my favorite things to do is to create dialogue amongst professionals about things that I'm passionate about. So the interrelationship between collaborative divorce, creativity, and innovation really struck me as a great opportunity to create this dialogue.
Okay, and let's dive into that a little bit further, Stephanie. So what is the relationship between those three things?
So creativity and innovation, in my opinion, are at the heart of collaborative divorce. The process, in fact, doesn't exist without these components. So collaborative divorce, for those of our viewers who don't know what it is a multi-step negotiation process that's based on open and transparent negotiation between separating and divorcing parties and their professional team that encourages separating or divorcing spouses to do a few things. So first of all, it's to understand what's important to each other, to gather all the information required to be fully informed, to brainstorm options, and then put all of that together to find a solution that meets their family's needs. So it's the putting together of all these components within this process that really brings about those creative solutions for each family. So being formally committed to this process is key. I'll just talk about the alternative for a moment so people might know the litigation path for separation and divorce. On that path, people are confined by solutions based on what the law provides and by the rules of procedure. And to me, this can be very stifling when we're looking to find that right solution for the family. Options that exist in collaborative divorce may just simply not exist in a litigated divorce because of our ability inside this process to be creative and innovative.
And now, Stephanie, you did mention that you created a film for this actual celebration, which is an amazing feat in itself. So tell me about this film.
Well, to be honest with you, the film started out as an idea with, let's do a few minutes. So the, worth of dialogue amongst professionals. The film has ended up being around 60 minutes long, and it's entitled The Essential Link Between Creativity, Innovation, and Collaborative Divorce, Perspectives from Around the Globe. So it will be premiered on April 19th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time on my Facebook business page. So if you go to Facebook and you look up my name, so Stephanie Dobson, I think you said that you were going to put my Facebook name on the screen. So it would be Stephanie Dobson, Collaborative Lawyer. Our viewers will find the page, click on events, and you can sign up for the event. So it's intended for public and for divorce professionals. So it's intended to learn about collaborative divorce as a way to achieve a healthy, thriving family after separation or divorce. But it's also intended to achieve a paradigm shift in relation to the power that creativity and innovation can have with the collaborative divorce process. So for the film, I interviewed 10 collaborative divorce professionals all around the world, including the founder of Collaborative Divorce himself, Stu Webb, all of whom share their passionate perspective on this topic. So once again, April 19th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook, on my Facebook page, and it's just about 60 minutes long.
Well, congratulations on that, Stephanie. That is an amazing feat considering everything else that you always have going on. So we encourage our viewers to watch that, take that in. We will post the link to that. And thank you so much for chatting with us this week. We'll be back again next week.
Thanks, Stacey.
All right, ending off, we'll take another quick look at your 7-day forecast. We will be seeing a slightly warmer day tomorrow at -1, but with some slight snowfall that will be coming here, but that will melt down starting off our Easter weekend, seeing that 3 and 6 degrees Saturday and Sunday with a mix of some sun and cloud. Then even heading into next week, we will warm up slightly there to 9 degrees next Monday, seeing a lot more sunnier skies. And the next Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be seeing that 8-degree mark and 9 degrees once again, with a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds than what we saw this week. Thank you so much, Shelby, and thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News this hour, and you can catch us again in the second hour.